you guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bakayo. This is Budget B. This is Budget B, and in this channel I share with you guys tips, tricks, and deals. I also do a little bit of cultural diversity. If any of that sounds interesting to you, please do not forget to smash that like button, and please do not forget to smash that subscribe button. It really does go a long way for me. And without further ado, let's hop right into today's video. So in today's video, I'm coming at you guys with another story time. It has been a hot minute since I did a story time, you guys, and I don't know why I haven't done story times, but yeah, I'm coming back with one, and I definitely will be having a lot more story times in this channel. And obviously, as you guys can tell from this title, I am going to be talking about something very juicy. I'm going to be talking about when my boyfriend finally got to meet my family. Honestly, where to start? I guess we can start with the fact that like it took 2 whole years to get that to happen, and that the first year of us being together I wasn't allowed to be in a relationship the first year. Okay, I'm trying to think how much do I actually want to say? Do I want to say the like cold hard, like just straight for the jugular, or do I want to like sugarcoat a little bit? Nah, I'm gonna go straight for the jugular. Okay, so we started talking my junior year, and that lasted like 2 seconds, and then we had to stop talking, and that was because pretty much the reason why we stopped was pretty much because I wasn't allowed. If my hair decides to ever cooperate with me in life, not that it ever stopped me, but for me and him, at that time it definitely went for the best, really did not work out. And then senior year came, and we kind of picked it up where we left off, senior year of high school. And the first year was very challenging because it was a lot of sneaking around, yo. It was a lot of sneaking around. And for my African ladies, y'all definitely know what I'm talking about, so I don't really need to go into that. Y'all can comment in the comment section exactly what I'm talking about if you want to. But for the first year, it definitely was a lot of sneaking around, senior year of high school. And I remember Devin and I had gone to the movie theaters, and you know, in the little movie theaters they have like this little photo booths or whatever. So I remember Devin and I had taken a few pictures. He had a copy, I had a copy. It was cute or whatever, but the pictures weren't that cute. Let me just say, it was not a pic. It wasn't like a set of pictures that I would really want. Not that it really mattered that they saw it. It just was uncomfortable to me. It was uncomfortable to me that they saw it. But then it was like a picture of us hugging, and a picture of us making like a crazy face. You want your family member who doesn't even know that you're in a relationship to see those kind of pictures, yeah? I think I had mistakenly trashed that set of pictures, and my uncle, who I was living with at the time, I guess he had seen the pictures in the trash can. I had mistakenly trashed it, and then I guess he had asked my cousin or something, like I guess she had asked my cousin or something, like, is she like with this person? And I'm pretty sure my cousin already knew that I was with like him, but I don't really remember what my cousin said. I think my cousin tried to cover up for me or something like that. But then I remember one time he was dropping me off at school, and then he just randomly brought it up. He was like, "Do you have a boyfriend?" I'm looking at him like thinking, do I lie? Do I not lie? Like, what's going on here? Because this is such a random question. So do you already have proof to just come to me like this with this kind of question? So honestly, I just ended up saying yes, I do. And he was like asking me more intimate questions. I'm just looking at him like, when he was asking me these questions, I was baffled. First I was like, sir, you're coming at me asking me this question, sir, where this question's coming from? Because it was kind of out of the blue, yeah? And I was really like, I was thrown off guard for sure. But then another part of me was kind of excited because I was like, all right, finally, maybe I could start to gradually introduce him into the family. Because at this point, I had met his mom, his dad. I was starting to meet his family, yeah? And nobody heard of the name Devin in my family yet. So at this point, when my uncle was asking me, I was like, okay, well, maybe finally now I can get to let them meet him or like talk to him, something like that. Nope, because that didn't happen to like another year later. But he had asked me, and then at this point what was going on in my head was, well, I might as well tell my mom, because I don't want my mom finding out from someone else but me that I was with somebody. So then I remember texting my mom and like I'm telling her like, Mom, I just wanted to let you know that I have a boyfriend. It was awkward as hell, but it was one of those texts where you just like type it and you just click send and close your eyes and act as if it never happened. And that's exactly what I did, because I was anxious, though. It was just very, very uncomfortable. It was just something that we never spoke about after that instance. It just kind of didn't happen. Whenever I were to hang out with him, ever so rarely would I tell my mom I was actually going to hang out with him. Most times I would just be like, I'm going out to do this, or like I'm going out to do this. And I feel like honestly generally she knew I was going out with him, but she just never asked. She was like, okay, be safe, wear your mask, have fun. And it kind of stayed that way for well over a year, and honestly it put a lot of strain on my relationship, because in that midst of another year I had met pretty much his entire family. Yeah, his grandmother is literally my best friend. Like, it's getting to a point where I'm like, all right, enough is enough. All right, let's just get this shit over with, okay? Forgive my language, but let's just rip the freaking bandage off. And that's my philosophy for life: rip the freaking bandage off. So at this point I was having conversations with like my aunties, like, do y'all want to meet him, or like but at this point though, 2 years, we're looking at 2 years now, I was asking like my aunties, I was asking like uncles and like my mom. There was one particular uncle who was very like, yes, I want to meet him, but in his head he was thinking like, this is just another thing, like it's like another fling, and obviously like you never know what lies in the future, but for us it's not just another fling. So for him, he just wanted to, I think he just wanted to know what kind of guys I was into per se, and he was like, I want to meet him, and I was really hesitant for him. It's funny, it's really funny and ironic, because I wanted my family to meet Devin. Yeah, I really wanted them to meet Devin, but then when one person was like, let me meet him, I want to meet him, I was like, not you. I was like, nah, maybe not, because I was scared. I felt like he was gonna like, because Devin, I should probably point this out, Devin is African American and I'm African. I born and raised in Nigeria, and Devin has never left America. So I was scared that it would be too much for Devin. And it's funny because that was the opposite case when they actually met. But I was scared that when Devin would end up meeting my family, like it would be too much. Like, would the accents throw him up, or would the food throw him up, or like would us speaking Yoruba, because we really do mostly speak Yoruba, would that throw him off? I was worried about those things. I had absolutely no reason to be worried about those things. But you are in an intercultural relationship, those things tend to be in your mind a little bit. Like, is it gonna think that ogbono soup and efabero smells weird? Like, those for some reason, for whatever reason, those things were in my head, because I still have never eaten ogbono soup and efabero around Devin. I will be filming that when that time does come, but I had never done that. And like occasionally, like when I'm like talking to like my auntie and my uncles and he's next to me, he's heard like my African accent come out, because my African kids, I have this particular friend, his name is Maiwa, you know who you are. He's the king of doing this. He's like, he'll be talking to me, right, and his accent is obviously like this, yada yada yada. The second he starts to talk to his father, yes sir, accent goes completely away. I don't know how he does that, because when I try to like have my African accent back, like I still have like bits and pieces of like this accent, but with him it's like a complete 360. But anyways, I was also worried about like how would he feel about that, about like the strong accents, and then how would he feel about the fact that we would mostly be speaking Yoruba, like, and that's a language that he doesn't know. Like, how would he feel about those things? Yeah. And I wanted like a smoother, like an easy transition. So for example, like if I were to give Devin African food, I would most likely start with things like jollof rice or like yam and stew. Like I wouldn't go straight to ogbono soup and freaking semo. I wouldn't do that. So that's kind of what I wanted him meeting my family to be like a easier transition. When my uncle, my particular uncle was like, let me meet him, let me meet him. I was like, I would love for you to meet him, but I think maybe let him meet my mom first. Because I feel like my mom would maybe be an easier transition, because my mom would be, I felt like she would just, what's the word? I felt like my uncle would come at him with like a lot of questions, like a lot of, so why are you with my daughter? Why are you trying to, like, just kind of things. And I feel like my mom would be more like observative, like she would be like, well, okay, let me see who you are from observing you, like asking you like broader questions to get to know you. So anyways, that was my reasoning. I don't know if I was right or wrong, but that was the reason why I was hesitant for that uncle to meet him. And then also with Devin, he wanted, it's so funny because he wanted everything to be absolutely perfect when he did meet my family. So he wanted to be able to like get like flowers and like other extra things and dress nicely and all this extra, get a haircut and all this other things. I was like, they probably don't care about whether or not you have freaking a trapezoid haircut. Probably don't care about whether or not you have a trapezoid haircut, or whether or not you're freaking, as long as you're not sagging your pants and your outfit is not dirty, I don't think they would care at all. But he was very particular about those things, so he wanted to wait until the time was absolutely perfect. And then at this point, like, I was like throwing it at my mom, like, hey, mom, when would you like to meet Devin? When would you like to meet Devin? When would you like to meet Devin? And I think it was right before my birthday trip that my mom was like, all right, a little like earlier than that, but like at that point she was like, all right, set up a date, let's meet him. I think she started saying it from December last year, I want to say. And then it didn't end up happening until after my birthday. My birthday was the 14th, so like he met them last week, actually. I want to say last week, yeah, I think so, last week. So let's talk about the actual day now, the reason why y'all are actually in this video. One thing with me is when I get stressed, I clean. I stress clean. I am that girl who cleans the entire house, every nook and cranny of the house when I'm stressed. And that day, right before he was to come, I started to panic. I don't know why I was really panicking, but I was sweating my pants off, okay? I was sweating my pants off. So I had called my cousin. I was like, yo, Kyle, we need to be like mediators. Like, what kind of questions should we ask? So like because I should point out, every single person in my family were all Nigerians. Hell, we're all Yorubas. So I'm just trying to say that to let you guys know how me bringing an African American into the family was just not even, like, didn't happen. And I also want to point out that generally, as far as my knowledge goes though, every single time someone in my family, like an uncle and an auntie, brought someone into the family, it was generally right before they got married. I'm definitely not getting married anytime soon, so I'm bringing in a boyfriend, someone who I'm not married to, and I don't think we're gonna be married this year or next year. So that was definitely something that was very, very new to my family. Yeah, so just giving you guys a little bit more context, like, boyfriends not really a thing. Every single time I had an auntie bring an uncle, they got married the next month. There's one exceptional uncle that he didn't get married for a long period of time with my auntie, but they lived together. They had a child together, so he was pretty much married to her really at that point. But yeah, and also I was bringing an African American into the family, and y'all know the unsaid, unnecessarily nonsense that for some reason is generally between Africans and African Americans. I don't know what the hell that's about, but thankfully my family had absolutely none of that towards Devin, so thank the Lord. But anyways, back to what I was talking about with when they actually met Devin. So I remember I had cleaned the whole entire place. I was sweating balls. I was changing my outfits 10 million times. I was trying to calm myself down. I called my cousin. My cousin was like,
what do you want me to do to you? What do you want me to say? You're the one who wants to bring him, so you have to take whatever comes out.
Trying to help me out. She was like, oh y'all. Like, oh y'all. So he came in, so I think the plan was for him to meet at 1 or at 2, something like that. And then he got here exactly like maybe like a few minutes earlier than like 1, let's just say 1. But I wasn't ready yet, so I'm like, hold on, I'm tell you when you're ready. And then exactly at 1, I was like, all right, I'm ready. At this point, my mom had and for context, it's just me, my mom, and my sister. And at this point, my mom had invited my uncle, his wife, and his 2 children. So at this point, it was my mom, my sister, myself, obviously, and it was my uncle, my auntie, and my cousin, and my other cousin. One of my cousins, her name is Fikayo. You guys have seen her before. Really close to her, so I really wanted her to be there. And at this point, I was like, okay, like, hey, it's Minnie family, it's Minnie family. But then at 1 o'clock, dum. Devin was like, all right, I'm about to head up. So he came up, and I just said hi, you know, whatever. And also I should point out, he doesn't know how I am with like my family, yeah. So like he doesn't know what that dynamics, because like, you know how like different people bring out different sides of you. I think that was something that was a little bit on his mind, but I could be wrong. It was definitely that like meeting a new person type vibe. Like it's just like, okay, this is a new person, you know, it's a new person, so you're not gonna immediately like jump up on their head. Like it was definitely like super nice. My family was super nice. Like, oh, how are you? It was smiles, not cuddles. It was smiles and handshakes. And Devin had brought my mom flowers, so Devin gave my mom flowers, and my mom was like, oh, thank you so much for the flowers and whatever. So at this point, I was gonna stay by his side every second. Like I was like, you know what, whatever questions, like I didn't know what kind of questions was gonna come out, so I'm gonna be like, nah, let me stay, I'm gonna stay. That was initially what I had in my head before the actual day. But when they actually met, it didn't feel like I needed to be there anymore. It felt like, this is fine, like it's okay, like he can handle himself, and obviously he can handle himself, but it didn't feel like an interrogative session like I thought it was going to be. It was honestly just, it felt like meeting someone new. And obviously when you meet someone new, there's awkward moments and awkward pauses, and there's definitely those moments, yeah. And I tried to like say things like, oh, what do you guys want to watch, like what do you guys like to drink, like whenever there were those awkward moments and awkward pauses. But he didn't notice the awkward moments and awkward pauses, so that's freaking great. So anyways, they spoke, and I remember going out to the kitchen and getting the muffins that I had made ready. And they honestly were just talking, like asking questions, answering questions, or whatever. Devin listening. Also beforehand, I should point out that beforehand, I cannot tell you how many times he asked me, how do I greet them, what do I say? I'm like, literally just saying good evening, ma'am, good afternoon, sir, like. And then he was like, well, do I bow? I'm like, nah, don't do none of that. Like, that's not who you are, that's not your culture, so you don't have to do any of that. But as long as you're being respectful, like they won't expect you to not be who you are. Like the most important thing to me was for him to still be himself, and for him not to feel like he has to do anything. Now further down the line, if he decides that yes, he wants to bow, and yes, he wants to do other specific things that we do in my culture, then go ahead, honey. But I have absolutely no issue with whether or not he chooses to do that, and neither does my family members, so it really is up to him. Fast forward, they were just talking, it was chill, whatever, and then all of a sudden I hear a knock on the door. I thought it was freaking delivery or something, just for me to see more uncles and aunties and kids. And I'm just like, first of all, what is this, a family freaking reunion? Like why is there so many people all of a sudden? It was shocking, I'm gonna say that for sure. I knew going into it my mom was definitely gonna invite somebody, yeah, but I did not know the amount of people that were gonna show up. I wanted them to meet him, I wanted everybody to meet him. I just don't know if I wanted everyone to meet him all at the same time, but hey, rip up the bandage, right? And that's exactly what happened. Then remember how previously I said there was a particular uncle who was like, I want to meet him, and I was like, I would like for you to meet him, but I'm kind of nervous about this. He was there, and it was kind of almost exactly as I thought it was gonna go down with him. There was a lot of like straight for the jugular questions, and I think Devin would handle them well. And then I remember asking one of my aunties, like, okay, so what do you think? Tell me the tea. And she was like, is he always quiet? Is he always chill like this? And I'm like, yes, for the most part. And she was like, oh, okay. And I think with her, it was gonna take a lot more than the first time the meeting for her to like decide what she thinks. One of my aunties, specifically Fikaya's mom, really She was really kind, and she said some really kind things to Devin, and that made me really happy. And then my mom called him his son, and that made him very happy for sure. Like and that made me really happy as well. And then all in all, I think it was awkward, but I think it definitely was good. It's definitely gonna be different, but I feel like my generation and my family is definitely gonna introduce a lot. So what was I saying? So I feel like my generation, so like I'm the first grandchild and everyone down, except for those who are in Nigeria, I don't really know. The ones that are here in the United States, I definitely feel like we are going to be changing that dynamic a lot. Fairly certain my cousin Fikayo is not getting married to a Nigerian. I'm fairly, like, if that happens, I'm going to be surprised. Ooh, before I forget, Devin ate jollof rice and he finished it actually. I don't know if it was out of courtesy, but he said he liked it. He said he tried it out before. I believe him. That's another thing that happened. They wanted him to try African food. But yeah, that's that was the general experience of them meeting him after 2 long years. I do want to point out that it was important for me to not just bring home like just anybody. So like, especially in my household, you can't just bring in anybody that you like, or just like any boyfriend. Like, you have to bring in someone like you're very, very serious about. And that's just how my family works in general. So that's, maybe it didn't, I mean, I knew I was very serious about Devin before the 2 years. It took them 2 years to be comfortable enough to meet him. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, or if you guys want to see an actual video with Devin in it talking to you guys, comment down below. I will see you guys in my next video. Love you guys.